It's Oscar season, and nominations are out. So I'll touch on almost all the Best Picture nominees and some other films that have multiple nominations, and then a couple of films that I'm sad to see absent, some miscellaneous thoughts. Let's jump into it. So we'll go alphabetical and start with Anora. Anora is nominated for Best Picture, Best Actress, Supporting Actor, Director, Original Screenplay, and Editing. Anora is about a sex worker named Anora, and her world in the club that she works in, the people she interacts with, the guy she ends up marrying, and all the hijinks that follow that. Sean Baker's the director. He's well known for movies like The Florida Project and Red Rocket more recently. It seems like one of the stronger Best Picture candidates. Between it and The Brutalist and Emilia Perez, those are probably the best bets. It's one of the best rated, even though I guess I didn't love it that much, but nonetheless, there's a ton of audience support out for it. Mikey Madison is one of the front runners for actress for sure. It's a striking vision with good humor. I don't really have strong thoughts on it because, like I said, I didn't love it, but it's a solid movie, and I would recommend watching it if you're looking to watch the best pictures. Nothing wrong with it. The Brutalist, nominated for Actor, Supporting Actress, Supporting Actor, Director, Original Screenplay, Original Score, Production Design, Editing, and Cinematography. I did do a video about this one, but basically this movie is about an architect who comes to the US, has an American dream type of situation, rise and fall. It's a long movie, 3.5 hours. It's got a built-in intermission, so you can already take a break. Adrien Brody is a very real frontrunner for Best Actor. It has a great shot at getting original score. It's in the mix for, most of its other nominees, maybe not supporting actress. I think it's a beautiful movie. It's got great locations. I do love Adrien Brody's performance quite a bit. I think he really sells it. It is worth noting there are some, controversies, not rumors, they're straight from the horse's mouth, about a little bit of AI use, some in complementing or supplementing some of the actors' Hungarian dialogue with a native speaker, and some with use of generative AI and creating some building design ideas, which were used in a sequence in the film. For some people, that's just a non-starter. Beware that there is some of that out there. But to me, The Brutalist is the best movie of these Best Picture nominees, not by a huge margin. It's not one of my absolute favorites of the year. I think there's just so much to appreciate with the style and the way this movie was put together, especially for a limited budget. It's just great to see it and be able to be wrapped up in a big epic like this. Next is A Complete Unknown. This is nominated for Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Supporting Actor, Director, Adapted Screenplay, Costume Design, and Sound. Saw this one a couple days ago. I am, again, not a huge fan of this one necessarily. I really don't like the Bob Dylan stuff, the aspect of the movie that much, which I know sounds like, that's the whole point. It's about Bob Dylan. It's a biopic. It's a pretty even-handed one as well. But yeah, I'm not heavily attached to Bob Dylan or his music. Didn't really know anything about him going in. Did not feel attached to him at all during the film. But I will say, I think a lot of the other stuff is really interesting. I think the Joan Baez stuff, honestly, I would just rather the movie have been about her. I really liked her rendition of, I think it was House of the Rising Sun towards the beginning. I liked the Johnny Cash music we got. I enjoyed one or two of the Bob Dylan moments. I think there was one sequence specifically where he's got this defiance to his character that I really enjoyed. But yeah, I think it's a competent movie. I wouldn't put much more beyond that. I would not really be a fan of it getting any of these. It was kind of a surprise to get into Best Director because the film is not particularly flashy. It doesn't feel like it has a strong direction to it. Even, again, it is competent, but I didn't really see that much there. I do like Monica Barbaro as Joan Baez, I suppose. If she won, that'd be great. I don't think the odds are very high, but I can dream. Conclave. Conclave is nominated for Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Adapted Screenplay, Score, Costume Design, Production Design, and Editing. Conclave is kind of a unassuming Best Picture candidate in a sense. It doesn't really feel like a winner, so to speak, but nonetheless, it does have some high points, some strengths, I believe. Ralph Fiennes has a good chance of winning Best Actor. It seems to be a very, very strong adapted screenplay runner. A lot of people like the score. I don't think the score works very well in context. I think it's a little bit horror-ish for what the movie is, so I would prefer to not see it in score, but, whatever. It seems like The Brutalist is the front runner there. Costume design makes sense. I really like the production design quite a bit. It missed cinematography, which some people were surprised by. I'm not necessarily opposed to it. There are some great moments, but cinematography is more than just the flashy stuff, and it's possible. I'm open to the idea that the more mundane stuff, perhaps even the style of composition or the emphasis on composition, is actually to the detriment of the movie a little bit. Next is Dune 2. Dune 2 performed actually very weakly, which is kind of unfortunate. It is maybe my second favorite of the Best Picture nominees. It is nominated for production design, sound, cinematography, and visual effects. The biggest surprise for Dune 2 was that it did not get editing. It was kind of considered to be a frontrunner for that. Dune 2 probably has the most spotlight, maybe the most viewers of any of these 10 films. And I think a lot of people are going to look at the Oscars list and have already looked, see Dune 2 be fairly sparse and probably not be thrilled because it is kind of the people's champion, at least in a lot of circles. But I mean, the awards it is up there for, I think, are well deserved. They all make a lot of sense. I hope it manages to come away with a couple. It seems the most likely is something like visual effects. We'll see. Next, the heavy hitter, apparently, is Emilia Perez. Emilia Perez is nominated for Actress, Supporting Actress, Director, Adapted Screenplay, Original Song again, Score, International Feature, Makeup and Hairstyling, Sound, Editing, and Cinematography. If you add it up, that's 13 nominations, which is the most ever for an international feature. Emilia Perez will attract plenty of attention throughout the award cycle for, in addition to just having that many awards, which is rare to begin with. It's also got a lot of controversy around it regarding some representation, both of Mexico as a whole, the depiction of the drug trade, and the trans representation. I don't have strong connection to either, but there has been like a good amount of discussion from people from each group stating their unhappiness with the portrayal. It's possible Emilia Perez falls into the category of Oscar movies where the voters are kind of like prioritizing these perhaps not well handled social issues, beckoning back to something like Green Book or Crash, although this movie is very different from Green Book and Crash. It's certainly not a boring movie. I would call it a baffling movie. I mean, if it's supposed to be a comedy, then perhaps I should give it some more credit, but I don't think it is. It just makes some very confusing decisions. It uses the music in a very confusing way at times. I don't think the choreography is very good or the songs, and it spends a lot of time on songs. Lead actress, I think, makes some sense. I don't think that was like a top 5 performance for the year, but I'm okay with it. That makes sense. I believe the character. And sound is kind of an interesting one to me. I could see that because it does use sound in an interesting way to set up some of the songs. I'm okay with those too, but I find it hard to see the love for just like everything about it. And this has been consistent too. It's not just the Oscars. This has been like an awards juggernaut, like all awards season. So, you know, they see something in it. Most people don't. It is the least well received of all these movies among general audiences. But we'll see. I mean, it's got a lot of weight behind these awards. It is up for almost all the important ones. How many of them will it win? Perhaps not that many. So I think The Brutalist or Honora, I mean, maybe Conclave, probably not, are more likely candidates, but it certainly has the awards profile to get it there. Next, I'm Still Here, which besides Best Picture is only nominated for Best Actress. I've not seen this one yet. We'll be seeing it soon because it's still on my way to my theater. This is a Brazilian film, and there is some amount of discussion over it because the Brazilian film fans in general are well known for being very passionate and advocating for their film quite a bit. It's caused quite a stir for them. It's a big source of pride. Covers something very important for their country. So some people are you know, there's some amount of discussion about whether it actually is that good, whether it deserves to be there, blah, 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 whatever. It's there. They like it. They voted for it. Apparently the Best Actress nomination was strong enough. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. If something is in Best Picture, it's usually not an accident. Usually. Next, Nickel Boys. Besides Best Picture, this is nominated for Adapted Screenplay. Nickel Boys is, well, you know what? I was going to say it's the most eye-catching or most unique movie on this list, but there are some pretty unique movies on this list. So I'll say it is the most unconventional movie on the list. And that is because it is filmed entirely in point of view of each of the two main characters. It is a beautiful movie. It's got awesome sound. I would have loved to see it in sound, even though it's not the movie that gets a nomination for sound at the Oscars because it's not flashy, but I think it uses sound super well. Looks beautiful. The style is eye-catching. It's also got some emotional weight to it. Integration era and a reform camp in the South in Florida. So there is a heavy subject matter, and It also has, for my money, the best horror scene of the year, even though it's not really a horror movie. That, again, uses sound extremely effectively. So it's got a lot of good stuff there. Very unique movie. Glad it's up for Best Picture. The Substance, it's up for Best Actress, Director, Original Screenplay, and Makeup and Hairstyling. This is another one of the most eye-catching movies of the year. I love the nomination for direction. The direction is extremely distinct and effective. I love the specific kind of vigor and sort of anger that it has in the film. You'll know exactly what I mean. Maybe you've seen the shrimp clip or something like that. Like it's very focused. It's like it's drawing from specific memories. It's like a very directed and effective rant in a sense. Like I don't want to make that sound like a negative thing or a derogatory. That is genuinely a positive in that, like, I feel like that specific feeling is not something I get from a lot of movies. So this is a unique, really noteworthy movie. Kind of gross. If you're not used to horror, if you're not used to body horror, be warned. It is maybe not the easiest to sit through. Next is Wicked. I've not seen Wicked. I saw the trailer too many times, so I'm not seeing it out of principle, which is not a good reason, but I stick to my principles. People love Wicked. It is certainly more popular within we'll say certain fandoms than others. It's still, well supported. Obviously, it's got plenty of nominations. It seemed like it was a big surprise to get editing. I have not seen many people be happy about that, but it is there. It seems likely to pick up a couple here and there. It is likely not going to be a Best Picture. It doesn't have director, and that's usually not a good sign. So here are a few other noteworthy films that have at least 2 nominations. The Wild Robot has sound score, animated feature. I'm not a fan, really. I would rather it not win best anything, really. But it is a big audience hit, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to be cheering for it. I am very glad it did not get that original song nominated because that was the worst part of the movie. Flow, nominated for animated feature and international feature. Very glad this managed to get into international feature. It has 0 chance to win because Emilia Perez. Love this movie. It's my favorite of the year. I made a video about it already. It's a dialogueless movie about some animals basically running from a flood. Highly recommend that. It's pretty short as well. Very glad to see it get something. I hope it wins animated feature. It's got a shot. Next is The Apprentice. This is nominated for Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor. Would love to see Jeremy Strong win Best Supporting Actor. Doesn't seem super likely, but he's there. So I was extremely impressed by his performance. He really puts some physicality into that role, despite not necessarily seeming like the most physical role, I suppose. Sebastian Stan is quite good too. I would have slightly preferred to see him nominated for A Different Man, but it's nice that he's here. Regardless, he did a good job as Donald Trump as well. Next is Sing Sing, one of my favorite experiences of the year. I love Coleman Domingo's performance. It would be awesome to see him win Best Actor. I was kind of disappointed to see it didn't make Best Picture over some other films because, it's got, 2 notable nominations, but unfortunately it's not there. Probably won't win anything, which is sad. It gets some recognition. Its name will come up. I would recommend checking it out. It's an easy movie to love, I think, and it's very wholesome. Next is A Real Pain. Another movie I thought was great. It's nominated for Original Screenplay and Supporting Actor. It is very, very likely to win Best Supporting Actor, which I actually would not be a fan of, oddly enough. As much as I like the movie, the characters, I'm not necessarily convinced that the character that Kieran Culkin plays isn't just Kieran Culkin. Next, Nosferatu. It is nominated for costumes, makeup, and hairstyling. I wrote down Nosferatu for the 3rd nomination, but it's not nominated for Nosferatu. It was production design and cinematography. It gets all text. It doesn't get any weighty awards, so it's not going to be in Best Picture. It does get some recognition, and it'll probably win something among these, which will be nice. I didn't love it, but I think it's a good movie. I think it's well worth recognizing the artistic effort that went into it. It does have some moments that look really fabulous. It does have a lot of nice locations, what it's nominated for makes sense. Then one movie I wish was there was Challengers, of course. Challengers, one of my favorites of the year also. The most obvious inclusion would be Score, which I think it unfortunately was not included over some kind of strange nominations, but whatever. It had some support for screenplay, but honestly, I would have rather seen it in director. I know that's not practically possible. It was never going to happen. But to me, the screenplay is not the strong point. It's very much the direction. I think the screenplay on its own, like if you just read it in isolation, it works fine. It's good, but I think the direction really, some of the choices like the way they go with the music, the performances, the chemistry and stuff like that, all that stuff I think is special beyond what's just on the page. So I think I would have rather seen it for direction. Would have been cool with it getting some acting, maybe a cinematography or an editing, something like that, but it's just not that kind of movie. Not for the Oscars. Would have liked seeing Kneecap in international feature. The movie was a blast. Kind of wish Romulus didn't get visual effects just because, obviously there's a lot of great work in it, but having something as questionable as that deep fake, something as bad as that seems like, I don't know. It just seems like you don't want to recognize a movie like that. That even if it has high highs, you don't want it to have lows that are that low. But whatever, it's not a huge deal. So those are the main players in the Oscars. If you've seen any of them, if you think something was snubbed, put it in the comments. There are certainly plenty of things I would have liked to see there, just a little bit that didn't make it. But it is recognizing a lot of good movies, so hard to be too upset about it.